Well, good morning. Welcome to the Chicago, Illinois trial session, the United States Tax Court. Our trial session will begin with the calendar call. I'll explain that process in just a moment. First, I'm going to introduce our trial clerk. She's seated down here to my right. Her name is Katrina Engel. If anyone has any questions with respect to our practices or procedures here in the court, feel free to approach Ms. Engel during one of the breaks, and I'm sure she'll be able to help you out. All of our proceedings are recorded and transcripts are available. Arrangements to obtain a transcript of any proceeding or any portion of any proceeding can be made directly with Ms. Engel or directly with our court reporter. I'm going to introduce Catherine Cito. Catherine, if you'd stand up. Catherine is an attorney. She's a member of the Illinois Bar, and through the Illinois Bar Association, she's involved in the program where she will offer her services to those of you who are not represented. She will explain the limitations of that representation, income limitations and things along those lines, and the conditions. It is a free service, and if you are not represented and you would like to consult with Ms. Cito, you can tell me that when your case is called, and I'll give you the opportunity to do that. All right. Ms. Engel?
Abigail Adams versus the Commissioner, docket number 91011-06S.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thomas Greenaway for petitioner.
Mr. Greenaway, how are you?
Very well, sir.
Good.
Good morning, Your Honor. Julie J.B. for respondent.
Ms. J.B., how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
And what is the status of this case?
Your Honor, this case is for trial. We have two preliminary matters that I'm aware of. Your Honor, at this time we have a stipulation of facts prepared that has been signed, sorry, Your Honor, it contains exhibits 1J and 2J, if I may approach.
Sure. Why don't you present it up here, and I'll take it right now, but probably won't get much of a chance to look at it for a while. Thank you. You said you had two matters, Ms. Jimmy?
Yes, Your Honor. There's also the matter of, I believe, Petitioner's Counsel wished to file a motion in limine, although that was on the chance that Respondent's Counsel received information with regard to a subpoena that it had served upon Chartway Bank. Respondent has not received any additional documents from Chartway Bank at this time, and therefore I'm not sure if Petitioner's Counsel does wish to proceed on that.
Well, let's hear from Mr. Greenaway.
Well, Your Honor, that's really the whole problem with this case. I mean, this case has not been prepared for trial by Respondent. Respondent bears the burden of proof on this. I should mention is a 6015 case, so 6015C is in play here, and Respondent bears the burden of proof on the actual knowledge of Petitioner with respect to the items that at issue. Respondent called me last week and said, Respondent's Counsel said she was going to get some bank records. I had no prior notice of that.
Well, do you have a motion that you intend to make?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I assume you agree that it's here for trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How much time do you think the trial is going to take?
We need no more than an hour, Your Honor.
Ms. Chibi?
Your Honor, an hour will be fine for us as well.
And do you have any witnesses here today?
I believe Mr. Adams is in the courtroom today.
Well, Mr. Greenaway, you going to call the petitioner?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And I have the stipulation that's been lodged, so you folks are ready to go? What's your preference for a trial time and date?
Well, Your Honor, my client has taken time off from work. This is a big deal for her.
So that would be today? That would be today?
Today.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Chibi, does that work for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, stick around, and at the completion of the calendar call, I will announce the order of trials and proceedings from that point on. Thank you.
Thank you.
George and Martha Washington versus the Commissioner, docket number 12345-07S.
Good morning, Your Honor. George Willis for petitioners, George and Martha Washington.
Mr. Willis, how are you?
Good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Anderson for Respondent.
And Mr. Anderson, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
All right. What's the status of this case?
Your Honor, this case is for trial. We have a couple of preliminary matters to take care of. I believe the court has received Respondent's pretrial memorandum, but has not received a pretrial memorandum from Petitioner.
All right.
Petitioner contacted our low-income taxpayer clinic on Friday. After a brief review of the Petitioner's evidence, I decided that I would enter an appearance today. And I respectfully request a waiver of their normal 7-day requirement that pretrial memos be submitted to the court in order to prepare one.
Well, this is a small tax case, Mr. Willis, and our pretrial notice suggests that pretrial memos should be submitted, and we certainly appreciate them, and I would appreciate it to get one even though it's beyond the time set forth in our standing pretrial notice. So if you have one, I'll take it. Or do you have it, or are you in the process of preparing it? All right. Mr. Anderson, do you agree it's for trial?
Yes, Your Honor. This case is for trial. However, I met with Mr. Willis for the first time just before the call today. Based on our preliminary discussions, we believe that there is a possibility for settlement in this case. So the parties would prefer that the case be set for trial later in the week to allow Mr. Willis and I to sit down and possibly settle this case.
And I take it you don't have any witnesses here today?
No, Your Honor. I have a revenue agent, but he's available to testify at any time.
Mr. Willis?
Your Honor, petitioners have a tough time scheduling time off from work, so I would also respectfully request that this be scheduled towards the end of the week, not only for settlement possibilities, but so that petitioners may properly schedule time off from work.
Have you two agreed upon a time?
We were thinking Thursday?
Anytime Thursday would be fine with
All right.
Respondent, Your Honor.
Well, let's see what happens. If not Thursday, as late as possible during the trial session, would that be acceptable?
Please.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, there's one final issue. Prior to Mr. Willis entering his appearance, I had entered into a stipulation of facts with Mr. Willis's clients. It's a bare-bones stipulation that's been executed by myself on behalf of Respondent and by the petitioners themselves. I don't know whether Mr. Willis wants to lodge that with the court right now so the court has a chance to review it, or whether you'd want us to wait till trial.
Why don't you let Mr. Willis have the opportunity to look it over, and then we'll take it from there. And Mr. Willis, have you given us a written entry of appearance?
I faxed it to the court.
Good.
On Friday, I will.
All right.
I have my original copy in hand today.
Thank you.
May I approach?
Sure. All right, Mr. Anderson, hold on to that stipulation of facts, discuss it with Mr. Willis, and if there are any problems, we'll take them up before we try the case.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thomas Payne versus Commissioner, docket number 1776-08S.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joseph Barry Schimmel, counsel for the petitioner.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you, sir?
Julie J.B. for Respondent.
Ms. Debbie, good morning again. All right. What's the status of this case?
There is a stipulation of facts, but the parties really don't agree on a whole lot other than, well, this is a collection due process appeal, so this is all about whether the respondent exercised their discretion or abused it in denying Mr. Payne's offer and compromise.
All right. And so,
Your Honor, this case is for trial. We do have the signed stipulation of facts with Exhibits 1J and 2J, if I may approach.
sure. Mr. Schimmel, your point is it's not very comprehensive. Is that your point?
Right. I don't know that there's any disagreement on the expenses that Mr. Payne has, but I think the major disagreement dealt with his future income.
Well, we'll take that up at the appropriate time, at which I think we should find out what is the appropriate time. Mr. Schimmel, do you have any witnesses other than the petitioner?
Several.
You do? Are they here right now?
They are not. The others are Mr. Patrick Henry, who is available, can get down here. He works downtown. And Mr. Payne's fiancée, Miss Olive, who is at home taking care of his child. She can get coverage to come into court, but needs
How much
to know
time?
when.
How much time do you need in order to make those arrangements to accommodate your witnesses?
She could be here this afternoon or later in the week.
Ms. Chevy?
Your Honor, we have two witnesses, one of whom is in the courtroom today. However, I believe his schedule is flexible, and our other witness is the settlement officer in this case, and he can be available anytime.
Is the witness who's here today from out of town?
No, Your Honor, I believe he's local.
So if I were to set this perhaps at some point tomorrow, that would give everyone enough time to round up their witnesses and ensure their availability?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
James and Dolly Madison versus Commissioner, docket number 1930-08S.
Good morning, Your Honor. Angela Friedman for the respondent.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
James Madison.
Mr. Madison, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Not too bad. What's the status of this case?
Your Honor, this case is set for trial. We just had the opportunity to meet with petitioner for the first time before the calendar call today. We have not completed a stipulation of facts yet.
But you mentioned that there's an attorney here I can meet with. Can I take that chance?
Sure. But what I'm probably going to do, Mr. Madison, how far did you travel to get here today?
Oh, not too far.
Not too far. I'm going to give you the opportunity to consult with Ms. Cito, but I'm probably going to set it for trial, just so we'll reserve some trial time. And if after meeting with Ms. Cito we have to change things around, we'll do that. But if you have to come back to try the case, what's the next best day for you to come back?
Tomorrow or the day after would be fine.
All right. How's that work for Respondent's Counsel?
That's fine.
All right. That's what we'll do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Benjamin and Eliza Joe Franklin versus Commissioner, docket number 2999-08S.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joseph Farrick for the petitioner.
Mr. Farrick, how are you?
Okay, Your Honor, you might note for the record that Ms. Smith from the Mark Legal Clinic is the attorney of record in this case. She had a last-minute difficulty reaching the courtroom today, and she asked me to stand in on behalf of the petitioners this morning.
All right. So are you going to enter your appearance on behalf of the petitioner?
Well, I'm not recognized in the tax court. I've never been here before, but I would like to state petitioner's case.
You would like to do what? I'm sorry.
I would like to present petitioner's case.
Are you admitted to practice
In the state of Illinois, yes.
All right. Let me hear from Respondent.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Anderson for Respondent.
Mr. Anderson?
Your Honor, based on my discussions with Mr. Farrick prior to the call today, Respondent would have no objection to Mr. Farrick being specially recognized.
Well, Mr. Farrick, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to recognize you for purposes of this proceeding, but I'm going to direct that you submit an application for admission to the court in the meantime, but we don't have to necessarily go in that sequence. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Well, otherwise, what's the status of the case?
Your Honor, this case is for trial.
And what about witnesses?
Your Honor, Respondent plans on calling each of the petitioners as witnesses in this case. We anticipate no other witnesses other than rebuttal witnesses.
Mr. Farrick?
Well, Your Honor, I really don't think this case should be tried. I think this case is ripe for settlement. Actually, I'm glad that we're here today, and
I'm glad you're here today, too, Mr. Farrick.
I would ask that maybe we could have a pretrial conference of some sort, because I think when the court sees the facts in the case, it will be clear that the respondent really should be conceding this case right now.
I'll tell you what we're going to do, Mr. Farrick. I'm going to direct you. I take it you have not had the chance to sit down with Mr. Anderson.
Just briefly before the
All right,
counsel,
I'm going
Your Honor.
to give you the opportunity to do that. If the case has to be tried, notwithstanding your impressions at the point at this moment, Mr. Farrick, if the case has to be tried, how long do you think the trial will take?
Well, Your Honor, I don't know if I feel comfortable going forward with the trial today.
How long do you think the trial will take?
If it needs to be tried, I would expect no more than 2 hours, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson?
Your Honor, I would anticipate 2 hours as well.
All right. And if it has to be tried, Mr. Farrick, you already told me you don't think it would be a good idea to do it today. What's your next best preference?
2 or 3 weeks, Your Honor.
What's your next best preference over the next day or two?
Well, as late, I don't know how long you will be in.
I'm beginning to wonder myself, Mr. Mayor. But I'll tell you what we'll do. I think I think I got a pretty good idea of what's going on, and I will set it for trial as late as possible in the trial session, and hopefully you folks will have a chance to get together and maybe make some headway. All right?
Your Honor, there is a evidentiary matter that I wanted to bring to your attention. I think respondent is going to try to introduce a document that petitioner does not believe should be in the record. In fact,
There's nothing in the record yet, Mr. Farrakhan. I'll tell you what, with respect to any evidentiary concerns or any other procedural concerns that you might have, we'll take those up at the time it's scheduled for trial if it's necessary to go to trial. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, in the event that it does go to trial, the parties have executed a stipulation of facts. Would the court like that now or at the trial?
You can hand that up here now. We'll hold on to it.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
Your Honor, the stipulation is not very, it just doesn't have all the facts in there, Your Honor. There are a number of things missing. Just my basic knowledge of the case as I stand here today, there's a lot missing from that stip of facts.
Well, you understand, I'm sure, Mr. Farrakhan, stipulation isn't the only vehicle by which evidence comes into the tax court. So you'll certainly have the opportunity to offer evidence with respect to any of the pieces that you think are missing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone in the courtroom whose name has not been called who believes that he or she has a matter that was scheduled for trial during this trial session? Terrific. Then what we are going to do is we're going to take about a 5-minute recess, and don't wander too far. At the end of the recess, I will come back and I will announce the schedule of proceedings from this point on.